you come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. Nigga, for you to go Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
That's Little Meech right there. And if you don't know, he's the son of Big Meech. And if you don't know who that is, well, Big Meech was one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, he went in jail. He came out of jail and he started linking up with 50 Cent's ops. Now, bear in mind, 50 Cent made BMF and put Little Meech on BMF without any acting skills.
I took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up you since for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this shit personal.
You know what's crazy? People are always in my fucking business, worried about what I'm doing, what Floyd is doing, what Floyd ain't doing, what I do got, what I don't got. Just know, I'm gonna stay in my lane. I ain't gonna fuck with nobody, and I don't want nobody fucking with me.
Floyd Mayweather just sent some serious warning shots at Charleston White, telling him straight up to fall back from this Big Meech drama or face real consequences. But guess what? Charleston ain't budging. He's standing firm and refusing to apologize for speaking his mind. Ever since he got out of jail, Charleston's been hitting up interview after interview, talking spicy as ever, and in one of those sit-downs, he threw in his 2 cents on the whole Big Meech and 50 Cent situation. And let's just say it ruffled a lot of feathers. Now, Charleston did admit that there's no paperwork saying Big Meech snitched on anybody.
Do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech.
He kept that part real, but then he turned around and said 50 Cent had every right to crash out because according to him, Big Meech and his son Lil Meech did 50 dirty by linking up with his enemies.
According to 50, he's put over $5 million into the pockets of Lil Meech and the families.
And one of those enemies, none other than Floyd Mayweather himself. Who? And Floyd wasn't feeling any of that talk. In fact, word is he told folks that if he ever crosses paths with Charleston, it's on sight, no cap. So what's really going on here? Is Floyd trying to help Big Meech and his fam make a comeback, or is he just stirring the pot to get under 50's skin? Either way, the tension is wild and this whole thing is spinning out of control. This Big Meech drama is heating up fast and it's pulling everybody into the flames. Floyd Mayweather, Charleston White, and of course 50 Cent. It's getting nastier by the minute. In a recent interview, Charleston shared his unfiltered thoughts on the whole beef between Big Meech, Lil Meech, and 50, and he didn't hold back. He said straight up, he doesn't believe 50's claims about Big Meech being a snitch because he ain't seen no paperwork proving it. That's the kind of statement that gets people talking or swinging. Charleston White didn't bite his tongue. He went straight at folks pushing that rumor about Big Meech, using Tammy Cowens to set up Cuffy and some others. He called it out for what it was, nonsense. According to him, people need to stop running with random street gossip and actually do some real research before putting dirt on somebody's name. Then things got even more real. Charleston picked a side and he sided hard with 50 Cent. He went off on Big Meech and Lil Meech, saying he doesn't blame 50 for snapping the way he did. Why? Because 50 was the only one that had their back when nobody else was checking for them, not even Rick Ross. Charleston broke it down. 50 got Lil Meech right. He took him off the streets, paid for acting classes, cleaned him up, and threw him into a hit series that made him millions, all while Big Meech was still locked up. That's real loyalty.
50 take him somewhat, I wouldn't say clean him up, but spend 2 years in acting classes that 50 paid for.
And in Charleston's eyes, 50 basically stepped into a father role when Meech Sr. couldn't be there. That's deep. So when Lil Meech turned around and got close to 50's rivals, especially Rick Ross, who been throwing shade at 50 for years, Charleston said that was a complete slap in the face.
Meech's biggest mistake was getting on camera with Rick Ross, running to the internet.
Straight disrespectful. He even said Big Meech and his son deserve whatever 50 throws their way. You don't cross somebody who fed you, built you up, and gave you a lane to shine, especially not for a few quick dollars. And here's where the plot thickens. This whole mess started when Big Meech allegedly reached out to Rick Ross for some fast money after getting out. Word is, that happened because Lil Meech blew through all the money 50 put in his pocket during their time working together. That's what had 50 feeling violated. Like, after everything he did, they still turned their backs on him.
Perfect example on you gotta be very careful on who you bring in and who.
That's when 50 started firing shots, even going as far as calling Big Meech a snitch. Wild stuff. Lil Meech eventually slid into 50's DMs trying to explain the situation. He said something like, "They just told me you unfollowed me on Instagram, and now you managing Skill Alberts, and when I was the one who brought him around you first, when you didn't even know who he was." That DM hit different. You could feel the frustration in it, like he was scrambling to fix something that had already gone too far. Lil Meech's frustration was loud and clear in that DM to 50. He said, "Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty. I'm human. I go through my own ish, but I never switched up on you, F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread so he can pay his bills till our next season starts." Lil Meech was clearly hurt, caught off guard by how fast 50 turned cold. He was trying to remind him of all the loyalty he had shown, but 50 wasn't buying it. Instead of extending grace or understanding, 50 went nuclear. He pulled the plug on the BMF series, cutting Lil Meech off completely. That move didn't just hurt emotionally, it hit the pockets too. And that's when the internet started going crazy. Some folks thought Lil Meech was doing the mature thing by apologizing and trying to smooth things over, but others felt like he was being too soft, that he should have stood up for his pops after 50 went public dragging Big Meech's name. Even Boozy jumped in and gave his opinion. No, Boozy, don't sugarcoat anything. But no matter how anyone felt, one thing was clear. 50 cutting ties with Lil Meech was major. 50 was the one who put him on, gave him a shot, made him a star. Without that BMF check, things could dry up quick. You'd think that after everything, Big Meech and his son would try to patch things up, maybe sit down with 50 and have a real convo about moving forward with the show. But nah, that's not what happened. Instead of peacemaking, they drew the battle lines. For real, Lil Meech started popping up all over the place with more of 50's known rivals. Floyd Mayweather, yep. Rick Ross, absolutely. The timing of it all looked way too calculated to be random. Over the past few weeks, Lil Meech and Big Meech have been flooding their socials with pictures of them linking up with Ross and Floyd. One photo showed them all kicking it at Lucky Strike Bowling Alley in Miami, and the caption, "Real power, oof." That felt like a straight shot at 50 Cent and his entire brand. Then came another post. This time, Lil Meech posted pics of him, his dad, and Floyd hanging out at a mystery spot. And more recently, there was a full-on video of him and Floyd sitting courtside at a Lakers game, laughing it up and clearly living good. With all the bad blood already brewing, there's no way this wasn't intentional. Ain't nobody buying the just chillin' narrative. These posts look like calculated jabs aimed right at 50. As everybody knows, 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been locked in a deep feud for years. It all kicked off when Ross claimed 50 gave him a dirty look while they were both on stage. That was all it took to spark a full-on war. From that moment, it was diss tracks, shady interviews, and non-stop jabs from both sides. 50 still clowns Ross for his correctional officer past, never missing a chance to remind folks that Officer Ricky used to work behind bars, not run the streets. In a 2015 interview with Tim Westwood, 50 flat out called Ross a fraud. No sugarcoating, and in another sit-down, he didn't hold back either, saying Rick Ross is completely irrelevant and that he has zero respect for his career. Rick Ross, on the other hand, sees 50 as a joke, calling him out in his own way and saying he's just a big boy who likes to play tough. The beef runs deep, but at least with those two, you can see where the drama came from. Now with Floyd Mayweather, that's the beef that caught everybody off guard, because 50 and Floyd used to be like brothers. Their fallout might be the ugliest one 50's ever had, and that's saying something because 50 doesn't play nice once you cross him. Back in the day, 50 and Floyd were inseparable. They traveled together, did interviews side by side, and even landed the cover of XXL together, showing the world how tight they were. But everything fell apart in 2012 when Floyd got locked up for a DV charge. While he was serving time, he asked 50 to look after his businesses. TMT, the Money Team, and Mayweather Promotions. 50 stepped in and quickly realized things were a total mess. None of Floyd's businesses were properly registered, and 50 had to build everything from the ground up. He ended up pouring $1 million of his own money into the operation just to get things running.
He asked me to help him with Mayweather Promotions.
Right.
Then as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather Promotions.
But when Floyd got out, he flipped the script. Instead of paying 50 back or matching the investment, Floyd accused him of trying to steal the company. While Floyd was spreading that narrative, 50 and his crew were out here pushing a "let's get Floyd back in pocket" campaign, trying to clean up the mess, similar to what Ross recently tried doing for Big Meech. Then 50 dropped a bombshell, accusing Floyd of being on FaceTime during the tragic death of rapper Earl Hayes and his wife Jessica. 50 said, "Tell everybody why you was on FaceTime when he unlived Jessica and himself, because he was confronting you about messing with his wife." That right there, pure chaos. Just when folks thought 50 Cent might let things cool off, he turned around and went straight for Floyd's neck. He didn't just throw shade, he humiliated Floyd in front of the entire internet.
Floyd said, "Yeah, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance. Say
50 publicly challenged him to read a single page from a Harry Potter book and, get this, promised to donate $750,000 to any charity of Floyd's choice if he could finish the page. Wild. Floyd clapped back by flexing hard, posting photos of checks totaling over $72 million, basically saying, "I don't need your money, I'm good over here." But even with that flex, he couldn't shake off the "can't read" jokes. The illiterate jab stuck to him heavy. Folks still bring that up to this day. Trying to flip the script, Floyd challenged 50 to step into the boxing ring and handle their issues the old school way, with gloves on. And while people got hyped, thinking this celebrity fight might really go down back in 2014, it never happened. Just smoke, no fire. But things didn't end there. In 2018, Floyd took the pettiness to a new level when he invited Tara Mari, who at the time was suing 50 for revenge corn, to perform at his nightclub. That move felt intentional, like Floyd wanted to hit 50 where it hurt. That moment pretty much sealed the deal. Any scraps of friendship they had left, gone, burned to the ground. Not long after, Floyd dropped an open letter on Instagram, and he lit 50 up. He called him a snitch, mocked his rap career as a failure, and labeled him a bitter, jealous man who couldn't even hold a decent relationship with his own son. That post was pure venom, and it left no doubt that their bond was done for good. So when photos started surfacing of Lil Meech and Big Meech hanging out with Floyd, 50 felt violated. After everything he'd done for them, seeing them kick it with his biggest op, that was too much. And you know 50, he wasn't about to let that slide. He came back swinging, posting a video of Lil Meech having a convo with Rick Ross and clowning them by joking that Ross was probably planning to gift Big Meech some chicken wings from his Wingstop empire. Petty? Yes, but very on brand for 50. Then he went after Lil Meech again, this time comparing his acting chops to Michael Rainey Jr., the breakout star of 50's hit series Power Book 2 Ghost. Michael had just won a NAACP award for his role, and 50 didn't waste a second using that win to throw shade at Lil Meech, basically saying, "This is what real acting looks like." To top it off, 50 even dropped an AI-edited video clowning Lil Meech, making it look like he was pleading for a second chance. In the caption, 50 said he tried to show Lil Meech the good life, but instead he chose to follow in Big Meech's footsteps, a path 50 clearly sees as self-destructive. At first glance, it might seem strange that 50 is coming so hard at Lil Meech, especially since Lil Meech had nothing to do with the snitching rumors tied to his dad. But when Boozy called 50 out for taking his anger out on the son instead of the father, 50 finally laid it all out. He responded, "I did more for Meech than anyone in his life, Boozy." That's why he responded like that. If he get locked up, I'm the first person he called. I bailed him out every time. When I saw him laughing at his pop's post, I said, "Oh, he a snake too, he belonged with him." That cut deep, and it didn't stop there. 50 opened up about everything he'd done behind the scenes to help Lil Meech, including sending him to rehab and trying to guide him financially. He said, "I thought about it. I think he was uncomfortable with me and Meech's relationship. I'm telling Meech I don't want him doing stuff. He telling him he used to do X like it's cool. I tell Meech, chill, stop spending all your money. He telling him how much money he blew." Then he dropped a bomb. "People don't know I had to send Meech to rehab. Russell Hornsby peeped. He was high as EF on set. He started throwing up at a weapons test. Then Ian told me the little ninja had whippets in his truck. I said, what? The EF is whippets? I look, it's the ish that be in baby guns? That's wild." According to 50, he wasn't just producing a show, he was straight up trying to save Lil Meech's life. So when Meech turned around and started hanging with 50's enemies and posting it all over social media, that felt like betrayal on a whole different level. 50 felt embarrassed, disrespected, and he wasn't about to let that slide. And that's why, according to Charleston White, Big Meech's real mistake wasn't just linking with Ross, It was posting the video with Rick Ross and then following it up with another one denying the snitch rumors. That online flex, it pushed everything over the edge, even if there was any chance for 50 to squash the Rick Ross beef and keep the BMF series going. Lil Meech and Big Meech straight up blew it the moment they linked up with Floyd Mayweather. That move, it was the final nail in the coffin. Now, as for Floyd, it's very clear he knows exactly what's going on between Big Meech and 50 Cent, but instead of staying out of it, he's playing chess. And from the looks of it, he's using the father and son duo as pawns in his personal war with 50. Real slick with it, but real messy too. Word on the street is Floyd's taking this beef so serious, he's willing to crush anyone who gets in his way, including Charleston White. Allegedly, Floyd's been moving behind the scenes, pulling legal strings and trying to get Charleston sent back to jail. If that's true, that's crazy. But what do y'all think? Is Floyd really looking out for Big Meech and Lil Meech, or is he just using them to poke at 50 Cent, knowing it'll push all the right buttons? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We need to hear what you think about this wild triangle. Do you believe Floyd's loyalty is real, or is this all part of a bigger ego game? Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss the next drop. We got more heat coming your way, so stay locked in and we'll see you in the next one.